Now, what would you say to somebody who goes, Maddie, I hear you, and they don't know the Lord. They're like, I hear you, but I don't want to know somebody. I don't want to worship a God who's like, that seems self-centered. That seems like, what would you say to people that say, I'm sure you've had people say that to you before. What would you say?
To that like God demanding worship is self-centered.
Yeah. And then even even with the revelation now, say they've never really fully grasped it. Now they're getting, okay, yeah, I hear what you're saying in regards to his power and how scary he is. No thanks.
Well, I think the first thing I would say is you don't get to choose who God is, right? One of the most dangerous phrases that I hear used regularly in church is something like my Jesus or my God. These other guys, they say God's like this, but my Jesus would never do that. Well, like Jesus is who Jesus is. God is who God is. And, we don't get to build God in our image, right? God has made us in his image. And so I think that would be my first point. But the second point would be there's this sort of dual, this sort of duality that I think many of us fail to consider, that God demands worship from us, and God deserves worship from us. But on top of that, God also designed us, and he designed us to worship him. It would be like, we've got, like I said, we've got 3 little boys, and they love to fight with their mother over meals. And, they could say, Mom, I don't want to eat your chicken tonight. You made us chicken, and I don't want to eat that. And she could say, well, hey, listen, please eat the chicken. It would really mean a lot to me. I worked really hard to make it for you. Could you please come and take some bites of the chicken? Now, all of that is true, and I think that's a good motivator. However, that chicken is also going to keep them alive for the next day, right? It's like you need food to survive. And so you could rebel against the chicken because you feel like, oh, Mom's so selfish. She makes all these meals and she just has to eat them to make her feel good.
She can decide what I eat.
Right. But that's not all there is to it. Like, she's demanding that you eat her meals because food keeps you alive. And, the truth is that the human heart, it was created to worship. And if we try to withhold worship from God, we end up worshiping ourselves. We end up worshiping our government. We end up worshiping celebrities or hobbies or other passions that we may have. We exalt other things and we give ourselves fully to those things. So, refusing to worship doesn't change the fact that you will bow before things. It just changes the things that you bow before. But the truth is that every human heart was designed to worship Yahweh God.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And that you will never find any satisfaction apart from him. And so, people can say, hey, I don't want to do that. It's like, that's fine, but you should know ahead of time, you will never be fully satisfied.
Yeah.
You'll never be complete. There is a piece of you that will always cry out to step into your highest and your first calling. And your highest and first calling is to be a worshiper of God.
Amen. Yeah, I never thought of it that way, actually. You said it really well, that everybody's worshiping something. And it is definitely evidence that we were made to worship, but worshiping the right something. In that case, it is Yahweh himself. I'd never thought of it like that. I think that's a really, really great explanation.